Hey everybody, this is Ellen Weatherford. I'm here with just the zoo of us. This is your favorite animal review podcast, and this is a really exciting day for me because I get to talk to somebody really, really cool about a really cool animal. This is Dr. Asia Murphy. Say hi, Asia.
Hey guys.
I'm so glad to have you here with us. I will admit I followed you on Twitter for a while and I think you're really cool. And the animal that you study is really, really cool too. This is the Fossa. And before we talk about the Fossa, let's talk about you for a minute. So how did you get into the work that you do?
So I basically got just really lucky. I had a dad who was interested in wildlife stuff, and so he would take me camping and hiking. And then I was lucky enough to get into a college that had a program for studying wildlife species. And I was lucky enough to get into a research program that sort of gave me this background that allowed me to go further into my career as a master's and a PhD student.
And you study ecology, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What does your work look like? I know from following you on Twitter that you do a lot of work looking at camera traps. Mm-hmm. So what does that work look like for you?
So just in case, the audience doesn't know what camera traps are, they're basically just trail cameras you can get at Walmart or I think Dick's Sporting Goods probably has it. They're automatic cameras that are usually in a box. You strap them onto a tree or a pole, and when the animal walks in front of it, it breaks an invisible beam and it takes a picture or a video. So it depends. It actually depends on whether we're putting out cameras and we're doing field work or whether I'm analyzing the data. So when we're doing field work, I'm mostly in the field, in the forest. When I was doing my work in Madagascar, I camped out in the rainforest for a couple weeks at a time. And it would be days of hiking, checking cameras, occasionally doing surveys for lemurs, making sure that the cameras weren't dying on us, and then pulling SD cards from the camera. So we got the pictures, the data. When I'm not doing field work, when I've collected basically all my data, I'm usually sitting at my computer most of the time, just running statistical models on the data, trying to figure out where animals are when they're active, how they interact with each other, etc.
That's awesome. That sounds both challenging and also probably really fulfilling too. For me, because I've never been to Madagascar, I feel like just like getting to go to Madagascar and experience it would be really, really cool.
Yeah, it was. I've always wanted to travel outside of the United States, so I was really excited when I got the program. My first summer, though, it was actually very difficult. It was super cold and rainy, and I thought since, Madagascar was a rainforest ecosystem, it would be tropical and hot, and I wouldn't have to worry about long sleeve shirts and sweatshirts and hoodies, but no, it was actually rainy and cold for a good week while I was camping out in the rainforest. So basically being damp all the time. I got a cold, and then I had to deal with terrestrial leeches, which was a totally new and awful thing.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate ticks. So the leeches were just it was worse. It was much worse.
That is not something they warn you about in like documentaries. They don't say, don't say like the film crew had to deal with leeches.
No, they don't. They do not. Even though I think there's more attention now on leeches, because it turns out that, since leeches suck blood, what people are starting to do now is catch leeches and then they'll genotype the blood in them and figure out what animals are in the area from that.
That's so smart.
Yeah. I'm not sure how, exactly they do it. You probably have to find a leech person to talk to.
That's a great lead, though. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I'm so glad you told me that because, sometimes when I talk to other people that work in ecology or doing field work in biology, they talk about taking non-invasive samples. Is that like a source of like a type of well, I guess for the leech, it's not non-invasive.
Yeah. You're killing the leech. And it's, I guess, the leech-animal interaction isn't non-invasive, but the human-animal interaction is. So there's levels.
That poor leech has to be a very unfortunate middleman.
Yeah.
Well, before we get really into Fossas, which I'm chomping at the bit to, but real quick, I did want to ask about when you're doing the fieldwork where you're placing the cameras. Mm-hmm. How do you know, like, where to put a camera? Like, how do you know, like, oh, there's going to be some animals that I want to see here? What's the thought process behind where you put a camera?
So generally what we want to do is we want to focus on trails because animals are like us. They don't like having to bushwhack every single place they're going to. So if there's a trail, if there's an easier way through, then they're definitely going to take that. So what we did was we usually followed human trails, and they'll use human trails too. And if there wasn't a human trail, but it looked like animals were kind of active in the area, there was places where the brush was a little disturbed, we would kind of clear it up a little bit so it's a little bit nicer and put cameras there. They'll come to water, so water features are always a good place to check. Obviously, if you have actual signs like paw prints or scat or anything like that, then that's where you want to put your camera.
Do you ever catch them leaving the scat on the camera?
No. No. Thankfully not. No.
Well, so I followed you on Twitter for a while. I see some of the things that you post that end up being pictures of Fossa and other animals that you've caught on the camera that are like so exhilarating to me. I see them and I'm like, beautiful, because you get to just see them out being themselves in their home. It's so cool, so exciting.
Yep.
So for people who don't know what a Fossa is, which I will admit, I'm right there. Like I barely know what a Fossa is. What's a Fossa?
Okay, so they look like a cat. Basically, they have a long tail and they have little rounded ears and the muzzle and the paws and the claws, long, lean, slinky body. But they're actually mongooses, mongoose that sort of evolved into this cat-like form when their ancestors went from, I believe, the east coast of Africa to the island of Madagascar. So yeah, there's like 9 other species of carnivores on the island of Madagascar, and they all evolved from the mongoose that you see, like little striped mongoose. They're like little squirrels, almost squirrel-looking animals, but they eat flesh. So yeah, Madagascar's carnivores evolved from this kind of general body type, and there are ones that look like foxes. There are ones that look like regular mongoose, and then there's the feline, which is this really weird animal that kind of looks like a cat, but it's got like a really pointy muzzle that sort of tapers to a point. It's an insectivore, so we think that the snout is just to make it easier to look for grubs. But
sure,
yeah.
So there's no actual cats in Madagascar.
No. Well, there are feral cats and domestic cats, but yeah, there are no native cats in Madagascar.
Okay. Is there any sort of like competition between the cats and the Fossa?
That's a good question. So there have been some studies on it, and we haven't really seen necessarily competition between cats and Fossa, even though if the cats are out there, they're going to be eating animals that the Fossa would be able to eat if the cat wasn't there. They'll probably exchange disease, so that's a problem. Dogs and Fossa, though, that's a big problem. Dogs will kill Fossa.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Is a Fossa bigger than a dog or smaller than a dog?
Smaller.
Okay.
Yeah.
In my head, I was thinking like, I don't know, puma size?
Yeah. People, like, they look like they should be bigger than they are, and they act like they should be bigger than they are, but they're actually pretty small. Yeah, I'd say they stand about like maybe 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet.
Oh, they are kind of little.
Yeah.
You know why I thought they were big? Is because they're like ripped. Like the fact that they're like completely shredded.
Yes. They're really buff. It's crazy.
It's like solid muscle.
Yes. Solid muscle.
Well, that's a good lead into what we do on this particular podcast. If this is your first time listening, we review animals by like rating them out of 10 in 3 different categories. The first one being effectiveness, which is like physical adaptations to their body that lets them do a really good job of the things that they're trying to do, right? So this is like a predator. So things that let them hunt their prey, things that might let them not get preyed upon themselves. I don't know how much of a risk there is of that for a Fossa. But like you said, like from dogs. So maybe like something that helps them survive, something that helps them thrive in their environment, things that are built into their body. What do you think you would give them out of 10 for effectiveness?
I think I would give them an 8. 0.5.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good.
1.5 points off for not being bigger than dogs. I think that would probably help them a lot more.
Yeah. Are dogs like a recent addition to the island?
Yeah, they're recent. They're not native, so obviously they hadn't evolved with them. But
do Fossa, like, where do they live in Madagascar? Are they like up in the trees? Are they down on the ground? Like, where are you going to find them?
Both places.
Okay.
They will sleep in trees. They'll hunt in trees. They'll run through trees, race through trees. They mate in trees. So there are 2 adaptations that help them with working in trees. They have these reversible ankles,
whoa,
which help them climb down a tree head first. I think margays also have that, the cat that lives in South America.
When you say reversible, you mean like they can like twist their paw around?
Yeah, I'm not sure how it works, but that's the term that they use, and it helps them climb down better.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And then there's also their tail, which is super long, at least body length, potentially longer than that. And they use the tail for balance. So they'll just be running across branches and jumping and everything, and their tail will just be whirling about, just keeping them balanced and stuff.
I feel like I've seen videos of them in captivity where you see them kind of like running around from place to place. It's really like graceful. It's really cool.
Yeah, they're super graceful. And that's because they're pretty much made to run around in trees, even though they do use the ground. We get a lot of our pictures on the ground.
What is it exactly that they like hunt? Like what kind of animals are they after when they're hunting in their trees?
Lemurs.
Lemurs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of our sites, or at most of our sites, the white-fronted brown lemur was the most common. So I would assume that Fossas were mostly hunting them. But there's this one lemur called the Indri. It sings kind of like a whale. And it's as big as a toddler. It can get as big as a human toddler, and they'll hunt those as well.
And they're pretty chunky, huh?
Yeah, they're pretty chunky. So I guess that's where the muscles come in.
I was just about to say, like, you'd have to be pretty jacked to be taking down something that size.
Yep. And they usually just do it through like a skull bite. They'll just grab the skull and...
Oh,
yeah.
You know, I've heard about, because I think a while back we did an episode on wolverines, which is a different... Are Fossas mustelids also? Are they within the same like mustelid group?
So they're in their own family, Eupleridae, but they're basically in like the nebulous mustelid weasel group.
So something we talked about with the wolverine that I've heard applied to a lot of other members of this group is having like a lot of bite force.
Yep.
Like a good serious crunch on them. Is this what we're working with the Fossa too?
Yes.
You ever see them like crunch through? Can they crunch through bone? I've heard about this with like hyenas, I think, and wolverines, that they can like chomp through bone.
They can crunch through skulls. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they can probably crunch through bones as well, other bones.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it is, at least. It might be like a little bit horrifying, but I think it's pretty cool. Especially when it's like primate skull. You get that, like it hits a little close to home.
Yep.
You're like, that could be me.
It could.
Yeah, that's why I'm not getting too close to them. But like you see them in captivity and they just have this like really beautiful way of like moving around their whatever sort of habitat they're in. I think it's just like chef's kiss. It's so beautiful. Like it takes like everything that you like about cats.
And then sort of adds it like that weasel kind of ferocious, vicious little spunky attitude.
I know, it's so good. Do they have like eyes like cats?
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
Is it the slit eye, the slit pupil eye?
Yes, but they'll dilate as well.
Oh, I love that. That adds like a lot of drama to it, I think.
Yes.
So the next like category that we talk about when we talk about like rating our animals is ingenuity.
Okay.
Which are like behavioral adaptations. So things that animals doing with their body, right? So maybe they're navigating their environment in a certain way, or they're just solving problems that they encounter on a like sort of daily basis. What would you give them for ingenuity?
I would give them 9.
That's pretty good.
I'm not sure if I'm ever going to give them a 10. I'm sorry.
That's okay. They need to be humbled a little bit. Maybe they're a little like too perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you get to like watch a lot of their behaviors when you're seeing what you've like captured on the traps?
Well, I mean, you can sort of infer behavior from the pictures. So we'll get series of pictures of Fossa like attacking our cameras, and they'll be like gnawing on them and playing with them and stuff like that.
Aww. That's kind of cute.
Yeah, and we'll get pictures of Fossa that are sort of running around together. So there's that one thing. You have male Fossa that actually sort of pack up into these like brotherly squads of 2 or 3, and they'll coordinate and hunt together so that they can take down bigger prey. So that's the cool, ingenious thing that they do. But I feel, and I wish we had done video more. I feel like we would definitely have been able to get better behavioral data if we had video instead of just pictures, still pictures. But you can still learn a lot from pictures. So.
Yeah. So you said that the male Fossa like to like group up together.
Yeah.
Is this like an all the time thing? Like they're always like hanging out in their little squad, or do they like to live alone? Like how do they interact with other Fossa?
Okay. So as a species, Fossa are generally solitary. Females are solitary unless they have their babies with them. And the studies in the West have shown that the males sort of like break into these 2 types, social types. There are loners who will be generally smaller than the ones that group up, the male brother squad, Fossa.
What about the females? Do the females like click up, or do they kind of chill on their own?
They chill on their own. And it's because, you got to have a territory that you protect and certain food resources to provide for you and your babies. So you don't really have as much advantage to kind of clicking up.
That makes sense. Yeah. You got to protect what's yours. Like, you got to kind of watch out for your own little space. Mm-hmm. Before we hit record, you mentioned something that really piqued my interest that I would love to talk about. And it is this, I'll let you describe it.
Yes.
But when the female Fossas are growing up, that they do something very interesting.
Yes. So it's this thing called transient masculinization. That's the scientific term for it. And it probably happens due to the Fossa's like unique mating system. So Fossa have these huge home ranges, and for the most part, they're solitary. So when a female Fossa wants to breed, she'll climb up to this one specific tree and get into the branches, and she'll start calling. And during the breeding season, males will come to that tree as well. And they'll come to the same tree like year after year after year. It's like a place to mate, basically.
It's like a nightclub in the middle of the forest.
Basically a nightclub in the middle of the forest.
Come find you a boo.
Yeah. So it's because it's so hard for them to get together that we think that this thing happens to younger female Fossa. This is after they leave their moms, so they're independent, but they're not ready to have babies themselves. And to avoid being harassed by male Fossa, what they'll do is they'll sort of change their body and they'll start emitting smells and oils that only males do. Other parts of their physiology will change to look more like a male's.
Huh.
Yeah. And it's basically, they're just I guess, putting on like a hoodie or something. They're
going
a backwards
in disguise.
cap. Yeah, they're going in disguise.
They've got like a fake mustache on.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how they'll, sort of do their thing while they're still preparing to be moms and to avoid being harassed by males.
That's so interesting that it has like such a physical effect on them.
Yes, it's insane.
That is really wild.
Yeah.
Is this something that is unique to the Fossa? Because I feel like I've never heard of this happening before.
Okay, so hyenas have a similar thing, but it's not temporary like it is for Fossas. Because after, the female Fossa is ready to breed, she'll kind of shift back to female form and she'll start acting like a female. Hyenas have a masculinization thing, but it's more permanent. So the females, or some parts of their physiology, will look a lot like a male's, and it's for their entire life.
Because hyena like reproduction dynamics are off the wall.
Yeah.
Like they're absolutely unhinged.
Yes.
And it's very, very cool. But I feel like I heard somewhere that like that was more tied to like their social dynamic. Like they kind of take on a form that like is like tied to their dominance in their social structure.
I think so. I wish I knew more about hyenas right now. I think it is. Well, the transient masculinization's due to social dynamics, so I wouldn't be surprised if the hyenas, it's the same process.
That's so interesting that they do that basically to just be like, leave me alone. Like, I'm not available at this moment. So just like they put on their little false mustache and fly under the radar. That is so wild.
Yeah.
You don't hear that on Madagascar, that's for sure.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, very much so.
I'm trying to remember what I remember from the movie Madagascar, and I was like an infant child when I saw that movie. So I remember so little of it, but do you know if that was like, if they had like an accurate representation of Fossas in that movie?
So the Fossas look like cats, which is that's good. The Fossas ran in packs, which is, sort of similar to the male thing, but they ran in like huge packs of 20, I think, or 50. Like they overran places. So I'm not sure if that's, and I haven't watched it in a long time either. So maybe but I remember there being a lot of Fossas for some reason. So that's not so accurate. Fossas are pretty low density. There's like 1 per 50 or so square kilometers. They have huge home ranges. They do eat lemurs, so they are a problem for lemurs, and lemurs will have calls to sort of avoid being eaten by the Fossa.
Oh, I was just talking to Jen Tinsman, and she studied blue-eyed black lemurs.
Yes.
And she was telling me that the lemurs had different calls for different types of predators. So they had like a call for like a bird, a call for a snake, and then a call for a Fossa.
Yep.
That's so cool to me.
Yeah. They get their own special call.
Oh, man. I guess that makes sense, right? Because it's not quite in the air. It's not quite on the ground.
They can be anywhere. So they need a special call for them.
Oh, true. You got to stay on your toes at all times.
Yep.
Are they sneaky? Are Fossas sneaky, or are they just kind of like going for it?
They're sneaky. They'll sort of creep up, and kind of like your cat when you're like playing with the toy, they'll move forward and
like do like a slinky sort of like creep up.
Yep.
Oh man, that's really neat. They're so cool.
Yeah.
So the last like category that we rate animals on, which I feel like the Fossa is going to really excel in, is aesthetics. And it's literally just how nice the animal is to look at. So what would you give the Fossa for aesthetics?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 10.
There it is.
There's the 10.
They came in clutch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, the cat feline gracefulness is really nice. Their coats are this nice, pretty, kind of pearly brown color.
It does have almost a shine.
Yeah, it does have like a really nice sheen to it.
Is it long hair or is it short hair?
It's short, but I'm assuming it's dense. I've never touched one, unfortunately. But due to the sheen, I'm assuming it's pretty dense.
Based on what you've told me so far, I feel like touching one is not at the very high on my list of things I would like to do.
I've always wanted to touch one. And it's like, I'm kind of upset I haven't been able to touch one yet.
And they have the eyes and...
Oh yeah, their eyes are so gorgeous. Like they're just like golden, intense eyes, and it's really...
And the round ears, the little like almost like teddy bear ears.
Yeah, yes. Teddy bears. Yeah, exactly. And then they got like this like kind of doggish nose. It's a little thicker and squishier than a cat's usually is. And it feels like it'll be like perfectly boopable. Like you just
forbidden.
Yeah.
It's kind of like bears, how you see one and you're like, it's so cute and it looks so soft and I just want to be their best friend, but I know, like you just know it's bad for you, but like you can't stay away.
Exactly.
Which I'm very much in the, leave wild animals alone, keep your distance, don't bother them camp.
Yes.
I also get it. Like I relate very strongly to that urge, that very like urge to like, but I just gotta.
Yeah, you just gotta touch it, but you can't. Cannot touch it.
They can crush your skull, so don't do that.
Yep.
They're specifically made for crushing primate skulls.
Yes.
So do not.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. It's not worth the trouble.
No, it's not.
So before we wrap up today, I want to kind of give you the floor to let us know like what kind of projects you're working on right now. If there's anything that you're involved with right now that you want people to know about, where people can find you, all sorts of things like that.
Yeah. So I just recently finished my PhD at Penn State.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm moving on to a postdoc looking at coyotes and figuring out why they're so cool and they can live in the city.
Amazing.
Have you done a coyote podcast yet?
Yeah, we talked to Jasmine Murphy. who talked to us about coyotes. It's funny, I was just thinking about that the other day because we have a pack of coyotes that lives behind our house. And I was listening to them and I was thinking about that conversation I had with her, and it was just like, oh, they're so good.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, so they're not as cool as Fossa, but like they're close enough that I'm pretty happy to be studying them. Where people can find me, I have a website. It's asiajmurphy.com. So basically just my name. I'm also on Twitter, but my Twitter's it's not as family friendly as I've been on here. So
grown-ups only.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And I've been following you for a while, and the pictures they're so good. They're so good.
Oh, thank you.
There's always something really cool on there. And it's not, I should say, not just camera traps. It's like also macro photography, right? You do a lot
I'm doing a lot of pictures of bees.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, their eyes are just crazy. They're like faceted eyes, and I love them.
Like a kaleidoscope. It's so good.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, and also before we sign off for today, I did also want to plug that I was linked with you through the Lemur Conservation Network.
Yep.
So I've been working together with their science communication team to kind of focus on doing episodes about animals that live in Madagascar, including the blue-eyed black lemur that I talked about recently. This episode should go up after that one. So yeah, the blue-eyed black lemur, now the Fossa. So we're really highlighting a lot of animals from Madagascar right now. Very excited about that. So big plug for the Lemur Conservation Network.
Do you know what you're going to do next from Madagascar?
I don't. We haven't done too many. So I did one also through Lemur Conservation on Cockerel Shafaka last year. I've also done one that was just like me and my husband, who is my co-host for non-guest episodes, where I talked about the giraffe-necked weevil.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Really cool. Really cool. So no, I don't have any other plans for like the next ones. But I am totally open to leads.
Okay.
So big plug for Lemur Conservation Network. They're super cool. Thank you to them for getting us linked up. And also thank you to you for your time and your knowledge. And this has been really fun.
Oh, thank you.
Of course.
Yeah, hopefully I was clear. It was good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very good. Excellent. You're natural.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Asia. And we'll talk to you later.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.